You know, every now and then, a person comes along whose story is just so big, it almost doesn't feel real. Someone who doesn't just change the game, but creates a whole new one for the rest of us. Today, we're getting into the story of one of those people, the absolutely brilliant, deeply controversial, and, well, enigmatic figure of Tariku Negasi.
And this quote? This tells you everything you need to know about the scale he was operating on. He wasn't talking about small ball stuff, recycling. Megasi's grand solution to all of humanity's problems was to just get us off the planet. A wild, almost shockingly simple idea that changed absolutely everything.
To really get a handle on his impact, you have to put him up there with the other titans. I mean, think about it. You had Bill Gates, who put a computer in every home. You had Mark Zuckerberg, who connected all of us online. But Tariku Negasi, wow, he did kind of the opposite. He didn't just add a new layer to our world. He moved our whole world into something new.
All right, so how does a tech prodigy from Ethiopia become the architect of humanity's next step? Where does a story like this even begin? Let's dive in.
Okay, so it all kicks off when Negasi is just a teenager. He creates this thing called development, or Dev 1.0. It's basically a 3D virtual world. You pop on a VR headset, you make an avatar, and boom, you can hang out and work in this digital space. And then, talk about perfect timing, the COVID pandemic hits. And all of a sudden, this thing he built isn't just some cool tech project, it becomes the essential tool that keeps the entire global economy from grinding to a halt.
So riding that massive wave of success, Negasi goes big. I mean, really big. He doesn't just promise a better product, he promises a better world. He gets up on stage and basically says, hey, you know all those huge, impossible problems we have? I can solve them. No more climate change, no more fighting over oil or water, a future with literally no waste, no trace. He wasn't selling software anymore, he was selling salvation. But here's the thing about building a brand new world. Sometimes the old one has to fall apart first, and that is pretty much exactly what happened next. So in the 2040s, the world hits this massive energy crisis, the energy clog, and conflicts start popping up everywhere. By 2048, things are so unstable that the United Nations just dissolves. Can you even imagine? And with no one steering the ship, the whole world just descends into this chaotic free-for-all, with countries scrambling for whatever scraps are left. And just when you think it can't get any worse, boom, the final blow. In 2052, something called the dark web invasion happens, and it takes out the entire internet. And I don't mean it went down for a few hours. I mean a complete wipe. Just try to picture it. Every email, every photo, every bank record, all of our collective history, just gone, erased. The world's entire socioeconomic system just crumbled overnight. Which, of course, brings us to the big, flashing question mark that still hangs over Negasi's head. Was this just a catastrophic random act of cyberterrorism? Or, as some people whisper, was it an engineered crisis, a master plan to clear the board for whatever was supposed to come next? I mean, let's just look at the facts. The old internet is totally gone, and who just happens to be standing there almost immediately with a brand new, ready-to-go replacement? Tariku Negasi. His network launches in 2053, and just like that, the shattered world is reconnected. He was the only one who benefited from the world's greatest disaster. Coincidence? A lot of people didn't think so. At this point, the whole world is in his debt. He's not some tech CEO anymore. He's a savior. And what he's offering now is way bigger than a new internet. He's offering a whole new reality. The key to this whole thing was a piece of tech he'd actually come up with years before. The mass decompactor, or MADE. This is the real game changer. Think of it like a teleporter from sci-fi. It scans a physical object, turns its mass into pure energy and data, and then transmits it digitally. They started with objects, sure, but the end game was always people. And in 2062, he proved it could work. After a huge public outcry about using an animal for the first trial, Negasi did something incredible. He volunteered himself. He stepped into the MADE, dematerialized from Earth, and rematerialized inside his digital world, Dev. 12 hours later, he broadcasted a live signal back. The entire planet watched, mesmerized. He had become the very first digital human. That one act kicked off what was probably the most effective marketing campaign in human history. Dev wasn't just a place anymore, it was a promise. And the slogan was genius. Heaven is a click away. And people bought in. Oh boy, did they buy in. Get this. By the year 2087, nearly a third, 30% of the entire human population chose to leave their physical bodies behind and upload their consciousness into Dev for good. This wasn't just moving to a new country. It was a mass exodus from reality itself. And honestly, can you blame them? Just look at what was on offer. A world where you never get old, where you can create anything you want out of thin air so there's no scarcity. No borders, no countries, no money. You don't have a job, you just follow your passions. It was literally the utopian dream turned into code and sold to the masses.
But you know how it goes. When something sounds that perfect, you have to start wondering, what's the catch? What's the real price you pay for paradise?
From the inside, by all accounts, it was incredible. You have this journalist, Quadril Buema, who made the switch, and he wrote, "This place is paradise." He saw it as the ultimate expression of humanity, a place where all the baggage we carry in the real world, race, gender, nationality, it all just melts away, letting your true self shine.
But let's look under the hood for a minute. Here's the first big contradiction. In Dev, there's no money. Amazing. Except you have to pay to get in. A lot. Negasi's company made a fortune selling sleeves, the digital avatars you needed. And this whole promise of ending inequality? Well, the rich were the first ones to make the jump, leaving the poor behind on a planet that was falling apart. It doesn't sound very equal when you put it that way.
And that's not even the biggest catch. Not by a long shot. Inside Dev, you have godlike powers. You can create anything, know anything, be anything. Total freedom. With one tiny exception. Buried deep in the source code, there are a few lines that are permanently blacklisted. The code for one simple function: exit. Once you're in, you can never, ever leave.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Did Tariku Negasi save humanity by building us a perfect, eternal paradise? Or did he just convince billions of people to willingly walk into the most beautiful, sophisticated, and inescapable prison ever designed? Something to think about.